Yo, what is good, fam? Agent here, and I have the SH Figuarts Shang-Chi figure from The Legend of the Ten Rings. I was actually looking forward to this figure because I do like Shang-Chi in the comics. I like that he's master of basically martial arts. They say he's a master of Kung Fu, but he's really the master of martial arts. And so here we have the box. It's alright. I mean, they've got the design like on his costume. They worked that into the design of the box. You got the seal of approval. You've got Simu Liu as Shang-Chi on the box itself, on the front. You've got him on the side, the toy on the side, doing the stance he does in the film at one point in the film. You've got some action poses on the back and a bunch of text, and on the bottom you've got your usual figure and usual Bandai info and nothing on the top. So yeah, if you saw my previous reviews, I kind of mentioned Shang-Chi and how much I was actually impressed with the articulation and stuff. So let's jump into that because, yeah, this is I have pretty much nothing but good stuff to say about this figure. So yeah, let's get into it. All right. So we've got Shang-Chi, and right off the bat, you know how we usually do, jump into aesthetics, and I want to talk about his face sculpt. Now, I think they got his likeness down pretty nicely. Sorry if my camera's a little bright and everything kind of washed out. I'll have to fix that later. But I really like his look. For it not being for the head sculpt not being like a man nipple or not a studio head, I think Bandai, this is one of the times where Figuarts did a good job capturing Simu Liu's likeness. I do like the hair sculpt. Lots of detail in there, lots of sculpted detail in the hair, and they didn't use the that paint printing process on the face. They just kind of made sure they had a good sculpt so that the light can play off of it, and I think it does just that. Like I said, I think it looks like him, or like a relatively decent enough representation of his look. Do dig the costume. The greebling texture on there, on the shirt, on the upper body is nice. It kind of does help make it look like he's got the dragon scale texture that's on his costume. I know some people didn't like his costume. I think it's okay. I'm one of those people, though, that also kind of wishes they had used his red and black costume from the comics, where you can tell they were kind of influenced by Bruce Lee's yellow tracksuit. But I think this looks nice too. I know some people complain about the pants because they just look like regular skinny jean pants, and they kind of do. And he's got sneakers, and there's even detail on the sneakers. You can see the sneaker tread on the bottom of the feet. You can get the light to bounce off of it, and you can see it even better. But I don't know. I don't really have a problem with it. It looks like the pants look like to me like they're functional, like they're made for him to be able to do martial arts in them, in the movie at least. And I think it works. It works in action figure form. Lots of creases and folds and stuff on the pants. Whereas this is kind of like a light armor. Since the dragon scale is magical, you can imagine it probably has more armor properties in the movie and whatnot. I like how they got the detail on the butterfly joints as well to make it blend in with the rest of the look of the costume. So yeah, I don't have any complaints with that whatsoever. And as far as articulation goes, he looks up about that far, which is pretty nice. He looks down that far. Also really nice. Good range of motion overall on this figure, I do want to say. You can raise his arm. It's the it's a ball swivel joint, in there, I'm pretty sure. And you've got pretty decent rotation. You've got butterfly joint as well, which you kind of wish it would come out a bit more, but it does. It's enough that you can almost bring his arms together. So I mean, it's got some decent range. No bicep swivel, which once again I wish they would break up the figure so that you could have bicep swivel. The bicep swivel is basically in the elbow, which I don't like because now it looks like his arm is broken. So I've never liked this. Give me a bicep swivel any day of the week. But you do have double jointed elbows. The sculpt of the costume kind of gets in the way, so you're only going to get that much of a bend. But you've got good range of motion on the wrist, so you can get a rotate and you can get the wrist bend. Upper torso, down that far, up that far. Good rockage all around. Same with the waist. You could turn them all the way around if you needed to, but it's not necessary. And you've got some rockage that way too. Now, I was surprised when I opened this figure and I noticed he has the Spider-Man, I call them the swivel cheeks or a swivel butt, whatever you want to call it, you know, the rotating butt cheeks, you know, whatever you call it. I love this design. I'm gonna find a comment. It was on the swoosh because somebody commented about the new Spider-Man, I think it's Far From Home figures, because all the Spider-Man figures use this hip engineering, and I personally like it. I think it works fantastically well for the figure, because when you bend his leg, there's something there to cover it, so you can get all this range of motion backwards and forward. Oops, sorry, I'm all off camera. You get all this range of motion backwards and forward, and you can get pretty much a full split. Like, that's enough. It's not completely full, but it's enough. I think, you know, you have these points on the side of his legs, his thighs, that kind of hinder that. But once again, I love this articulation scheme. I think it works well, and it makes it really easy to pose the character. And you have, you know, your thigh swivel built in as well, up at the top, near the top of the leg. I think it helps because it covers up a lot of the figure, so you don't have any gappage, which people don't like it being cut up, but it covers up a lot of the gappage. I think this should be standard on every single Figuarts toy, not just the ones where characters are very physical or do a lot of fighting and whatnot and are athletic. I think this should be on every Figuarts toy. Now, as far as the knees, you got double jointed knees, so you get that much of a bend, and you can bend the toe, you can bend the foot that far forward, that far back. Now, this is the kind of joint I kind of don't like, because you have to rotate the entire joint. You have to rotate the entire joint in the socket in order to make it transition into the ankle rocker. And I hate that. It's just annoying to me. I don't like having to do that when I'm posing the figure. It kind of makes it feel like it's taking me more time than it should to get the figure in the pose that I want or in the stance that I want. And as far as, you know, your toe point, you've got good range of motion on that. So overall, great range of motion on this figure. Like I said, the ankles are a little annoying to me, but that's just me. Other people might not mind it. I mind it, but overall, I was doing like some kung fu martial art poses with this guy, and everything looked really good. It looked proper. The form looked nice. This is what I like from Figuarts, when you have a good looking figure with good posability and articulation, and this figure fits the bill. Now, remember when I said I had nothing but good things to say about this figure, or about this entry? Well, I lied. This figure is sorely lacking in accessories. As usual, for this, if I had to give them a grade, it would be an F, because they're doing the barely minimum thing again. As far as weapons, all he comes with is his dragon scale staff, And he does come with holding things hands, but this staff, it's all one piece. It doesn't split off or anything. And the paint application is okay. It's fine. It's a glossy red, but you have to run the hands all across the glossy red part to get onto the tan wood part. And I fear that it's gonna cause paint rub after a while if from going back and forth to moving the hands on and off the staff. So if you're interested, you should, if you don't want this to happen or to try and prevent it, I think you should look into buying. Now I have it somewhere. I should have brought it out before I started the review. Whoops, here it is. This is a clear coat spray. This is a flat clear coat spray, but since it's kind of shiny, I would probably use a gloss clear coat, and just maybe, I mean, you can buy a spray bottle like this, or you can buy, I think you can buy the bottle where it's got like a little paintbrush in it, and I would just give it a quick maybe one layer, just so that you're still able to get the hands over onto the staff, just for a little added layer of protection. So yeah, I would probably spray one quick little coating on this staff, on the red parts of the staff, just so you can have some protection there. And then of course he comes with an extra head. Sadly, I mean, as nice as it is, it's basically the same head as the neutral, but his brow is just a little more furrowed, so he's got a little bit more of a serious expression. But that's all you get with the heads. No screaming face head, no nothing. It's too bad, because if you're gonna do such a good job on the sculpt, you should have done more heads to take advantage of that, because why not? But he does come with about 4 sets of hands, not including the fists, and he has these chopping hands, which they all look pretty good. I mean, their hands always look good. I've never had any issues with their hands, or the look of their hands at least. So you have your judo chop hands, and he only comes with 1 set of holding things hands, and he has a left and a right, so, and it's angled. Whoops, I just can't hold on to anything today. And it's angled, so it goes in at an angle, and so it makes it easier to point your weapon at people or at your other figures. And yeah, it looks good. I mean, my fingers are completely covering up the hands, but I've got a picture of the hands so you can see them more up close and personal. He also has a left and right, kind of like a relaxed pose hand. Also pretty splendiferous. And he has an open palm hand. Man, a lot of butterfingers today. But yeah, open palm hand, and that is it. That's it. That's all the stuff he comes with. An extra head that's pretty much almost as plain as the neutral head, a staff, and 4 sets of hands. And that's all you get with this figure, which is too bad, because there's something else he should have came with that I don't know if I want to spoil it for the movie, but it definitely would have been something that would have required multiple accessories because of the different uses it had in the film. And I know the film hasn't been out that long, so I don't want to spoil it, but I kind of thought this was going to happen anyway, so when it did happen, I wasn't surprised when I went and saw the movie. But yeah, he ends up with something. He ends up getting something that I knew he was gonna get, and they didn't make the toy version or the accessory version to go with this figure, which is too bad. It sucks because like I know if Mafex does this figure, I might end up getting rid of this Figuarts figure and getting the Mafex, as long as the QC is on point, and Mafex is usually good about doing the maximum amount of accessories they can cram into a toy, especially with the MCU toys. They've been really, to me, they've been killing it with the accessories. The Captain America Endgame figure had a bunch of accessories. He had the swinging hammer accessory, the broken shield, as well as the regular shield, which is what I wanted from Nada Studio, but could never get it because I didn't pre-order it, and the aftermarket was just going nuts with the prices because people were just bidding on it crazily, so I never got it. Thor, once again, the Mafex Thor, which was like Infinity War, Endgame, and Ragnarok almost all put together. That was awesome, with all the accessories it came with. So if they do, I'm sure they're gonna include that item that I'm talking about, that spoiler item that he gets in like the third act of the film. I'm sure they're gonna do accessory items and stuff like that to work with that to complete the look for Shang-Chi, because Figuarts, as once again, has cut corners, and they're trying to minimize their spending and maximize their profits, and unfortunately this figure suffers from that. Once again, solid figure itself, really lacking in the accessory department. Way too bad. You're like literally opening the door for third-party people to come in and make extra stuff to make money that you could have made off of this toy. So it's your loss, and it's going to be their gain if they decide to do it. If they decide to do what I think they're doing. So that's going to pretty much do it for this review. Once again, leave a like if you enjoyed the review, if you found it informative, or if you just enjoyed watching it, or if it was entertaining because you had it in the background while you were vacuuming or something. If you want to stay up on all my uploads and content, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications, and leave any questions, comments, queries, or constructive criticism that you might have on my content, so that it helps me get better. And I want to know what people enjoy, so I can keep doing more of that, so that you guys will still want to keep coming back to watch my videos. So that is going to pretty much do it. Until the next review, I'll catch you guys later. I'm Agent O, and I'm out. Peace.